1 minute, I'm speaking to a friend on my cell phone. The next, chasing slow-moving, grumpy children from the middle of the street. Then settled on the stoop, basking in the sun. When poof, there she is, quiet, curious, sleek and lean, hungry for us, hungry. We fed her, and she strayed. Hungry, she returned and stayed. I have the privilege of studying with Elisa Phillips about 3 summers ago at the Kenyon Writers Workshop, and this is a poem that came out of that workshop. And I dedicated it to my daughter, Cricket. Beneath the waning twilight returns a soft music, a soothing lullaby, sung by crickets and other night creatures, filling the pastel pink princess room, complete with fairy wings and gliding butterflies, and jeweled tiaras, gems in the crown of the rich lacy canopy, which sheltered the sleeping cherub and her most treasured friend, a bear with a worn nose and bruised ears, whose fierce plushiness chased the boogeyman from the room night after night after night. And this is a piece of microfiction, so 300 words or less. And I called it Pine Boxes. Don't need nothing more than a plain old pine box to meet your maker. We all be naked at them gates, Janie girl. Papa built pine boxes. For Christmas one year, he made a small pine box for under my pillow for my worries. The next year, a bigger one for my night table. The older a person gets means the bigger the worries. I decided I didn't want to get too old, because the pine boxes Papa made for old Mr. Fellows were always man-sized. Imagine all them worries you could fit in there. He be coming, Janie. You best be getting on now. Mrs. Hubbard always said he be coming. Only I don't know who he is. Her hair was white like Christmas snow. She always wore her black button-up sweater backwards. Everybody said she was crazy. My mama told me once never to point westward. Excuse me, be bad manners, Janie girl. I wondered if bad manners and he had any connection. Janie girl, he be coming for sure this time. Feels it in my bones. Mrs. Hubbard wheezed as she swept the snow off the walk. I nodded. I still didn't know who he was and settled for myself it'd be bad manners to ask. The next morning I rode into town with Papa, a pine box fresh and pale in the bed of his old Ford. We pulled up in front of Mrs. Hubbard's, boot prints matting down the snow on her walk. He came for her last night, Janie girl. Her maker came for her last night. I looked at the pine box. I guess once he arrives, he's got no more worries to carry about. I stayed in the truck, glad my worries still fit in the small pine box clutched tightly in my hands. And this is another poem that I wrote while at Kenyon. Sandcastles. Like stitches, anchoring them, pinning them, or fastening them carefully, weaving a loose, broken, or interrupted pattern, or creating a movable snugness, or rightness, as in the story of the bear's missing button, which slips simply through its hole, stitched not because the button was a required completeness, but rather an act of love. Best or free, its utility, a visible reminder of its fixedness, or ability to hold hostage, reminding them, bearing witness to the simple fact that fabric, once cut, once tiara'd, may mourn the disruption of pattern, or become more than it once was in a single plane. So were the children who ran ahead out towards the beach and the setting sun. This is a bit of memoir that I wrote probably 2.5 years ago. So, I like your necklace. His little fingers creeping out from under the covers, pointing at the chain of It was Oma's, I whispered to my sleepy 4-year-old son. Did he take it from her? He asks, vexed at the idea his dad had taken something without asking. I can see him thinking, the wheels turning in his head as he presses his face against the pillow, our noses very close together as we lay in his bed listening to Little Red Caboose. More earnestly now, did Daddy take it from her? No, sweetie, he didn't. She died, remember? Daddy and I had to clean up all her stuff. Some of it we kept, and some of it we gave away. Very perplexed. Why didn't she keep it? Did Daddy take it from her without asking? Oh, sweetie, she wanted him to have it. Daddy gave it to me so someone could wear it and enjoy it still. In a few years, when your sister is older, we will give it to her. Do you remember, Oma? I stroke his hair above his ear. He really is upset at the notion his daddy took the necklace. My sweet and sensitive boy, frowning in the dark, eyes boring into me, puzzling it out, thought by thought until he thinks he understands. Thinking, his sleepy eyes fluttering. No, I don't think so. Of course he doesn't. He was 5 days shy of 18 months when she died. He turned 18 months on the day we buried her. A sunny but blustery cold day, the day before Thanksgiving, 3 years ago. He sat on my lap in church while his sister and Daddy cried. I dressed in a black velvet suit and my husband in a borrowed shirt. Our little one spit up on my husband that morning in the hotel, and we borrowed a shirt from my husband's high school best friend. This year, a few days after Christmas at the cemetery, the plot covered in snow, and the Christmas wreath we had bought sagging on the wind-beaten wire form, we talked about a funeral. My daughter remembering little, and my sweet 4-year-old claiming to remember, filling in the scene from what he had heard my husband and I discussing. He had slept in the car for the interment. It was just as well. Him sleeping like an angel freed up my arms, allowing me to hold his sister and help her place a rose on the casket. My daughter remembers some things. Her Oma's beautiful singing voice, her funny talk. We spoke a mix of German and English, drifting from language to language seamlessly. I never knew it happened unless someone pointed it out. My husband and I are the same, only not as much anymore. When my mother-in-law died, his German died as well. I think it was too sad to continue speaking his mother's language. The language I learned as a young adult, and the only language he knew until he started attending public school. I remember her dumplings, my daughter offers cheerfully as we drive away from the drooping reef and the snow-covered cemetery plot. As she should. She ate enough of them. I think about my mom. What will the kids remember about her? What if she's gone soon? Will my children, now 7 and 4, really be old enough to remember her? Will they remember her healthy? The grandmother on the beach with them, the wind whipping the kite out of her hands as she blabbers on about it going to Cuba, the exact opposite from direction from which the kite is going, floating higher and higher, but who's keeping track? Will they remember her going fishing with us and eating barbecue on the patio in November? Will they remember wondering about all the doctor's appointments we have slogged through? Her dressed up, beaming proudly at dance recitals and kindergarten graduations. Her walking from the grocery store, conspicuously putting chips in the cart after I have said no more junk food. Or will they remember her being the grandmother who died in our living room? That's the plan. My mom will come and stay with us when she has fought the good fight and is too tired to fight anymore. Will they remember me crying, knowing that the end is near, both wanting the suffering to end and hoping for just one more day? She will not die alone. She will be here with people who love her. She's not stubborn like my mother-in-law. My mother will come and be with us as the days dwindle. I know it's the right thing to do, but I wonder what those last memories will be like for my children. A week to the day that Mama died, my daughter spent the day with her. My husband was mowing and doing housework, and she had gone along, probably so I could work at our house or rest. Doing double duty and caring for my mother post her complicated neck surgery had been exhausting. Running 2 households, caring for children, 2 ill mothers, and my husband traveling was a lot for a 30-something woman to handle. On the way home in the car, our wise and precocious 4-year-old said, Daddy, I think Oma is dying. What could he say except, I think you're right. The chemo is taxing. We all see that. They see it. Granny is tired. young to feel torn, so busy being a mother of young children and aiming for more time with Grammy, but it's hard. So many things to get accomplished, simple things like meals and homework and doctor's appointments. I wonder what strings of memories my little people will weave together. What will their family tapestry look like? They are both very young and already their extended family is shrinking right before our eyes, and their eyes are so young, so many memories yet to come. Will those replace the women who touched their young lives briefly, or will the memories of death haunt them? I wonder. As I put the necklace away, I think about what I remember, what strings bind me to the past. I shut the lid of the jewelry box. I am not sure what we really know. I shut the lid of the jewelry box. I am not sure what we really know, what we remember. Or do we remember what we know? And then this is another poem that I wrote about the same time. My mind drifts to you. The cloudless sky catches and holds my eye. The crystal blue, almost an otherworldly hue. My mind drifts to you. Inside, hidden and deep, unseen, and evilness seeps unrelenting. My mind drifts to you. Some whisper while others gently nod their heads. Folders are opened and closed. More whispers of men's. My mind drifts to you. We sit, we wait. You want to say something but hesitate. Others smile at us. The man in the white coat prevocates. My mind drifts to you. I try to be strong, for I have known all along. These tests and visits merely prolonging. My mind drifts to you. There are decisions which must be made while the visitors parade. My mind drifts to you. Dishes which are new, for this I do, strive to eat, to be alive for you. My mind drifts to you. I try to remember, I create my mental archive. So when people ask, I will remember you alive. My mind drifts to you. We sit and talk and discuss. You want it to be done with minimal fuss. My mind drifts to you. Photos are spread over the table, rearranged, divide, and relabel. My mind drifts to you. Time is now divided into a series of lasts. Each day seems to